Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome on back to the CIS playoffs here. We have ESPADA versus Team Spirit. We're about to hop into game number 2. This is Dakota, joined again by Purge. Purge, game 1 belongs to Spirit. They had, a decent draft, made it work in the end. The laning phase started very strong for them, but then handed over a couple of ganks, and then ESPADA really put it into a sticky situation when they pulled out the backdoor plays. So walking away from that game, I anticipate ESPADA could potentially be, more of a coordinated team. I just want to see him have a better draft this time.
Yeah, me too. I definitely feel the same way. So hopefully we can pull out our extremely high-level drafting knowledge to truly understand why mistakes are made and things like that.
Yeah.
Fingers crossed.
Well, I can tell you they're going to do that Bounty Hunter ban again purely out of respect.
They do get rid of the Lesh this game, though, which, I mean, his Lesh was good. He had a couple like gank reactions that were fantastic. So that was probably the most effective part about Lesh that I felt like I saw in his itemization. The mid-game was also really good, so made the game a little hard. So they ban it out, interestingly. Open with an Axe.
Axe again for Phobos. But I've heard that Phobos, that's just like his hero.
Did you do the command, by the way?
Oh. Good question. Good eye.
Just in case.
Whoops.
I
People watching the stream don't know what we're talking about. For people in Dota TV, hello and welcome to CIS playoff coverage here. So pick 2 after the Naga Siren is going to be the Disruptor. So a mild run back here to what we saw in the last game.
I mean, I thought the Naga Disruptor was fine in the previous match. Just they needed a little bit more damage out of their other hero somewhere. So it's going to work out fine. Warlock opening is a little bit different. I can't remember what the order was in the previous game. I assume we swapped. We're swapping sides, so we're probably swapping pick order as well.
I think Witch Doctor?
No, they picked Sky first phase, I think.
Sky was the first phase pick.
Because then they had Witch Doctor by 3rd pick as well, I believe.
Yeah.
I think it was like they opened
Sky Axe,
Axe.
and then ESPADA picked Lycan into the Axe, and that's when we're like, whoa.
Yep. Yeah, that's right.
Okay, that makes sense.
So Warlock is more team fighty, more lane stabilizing. He can lane with Axe, he can lane with another carry. They've got flexibility here, considering both Naga and Disruptor are relatively aggressive as heroes. Warlock can kind of adjust as needed, so it's a pretty good pick right here, I think.
Second phase of bans, ESPADA to get rid of the Chen. PL also has got to go. Lifestealer and Gyrocopter. So lots of focus on late game cores here from both sides.
It's also cores that just deal a lot of damage, can decently profit from Disruptor setups or Naga sleeps, so I think they work out okay. Gyro's pretty effective against Lycan, has pretty high HP, has a lot of magic damage, is fast, so can kind of work around dealing damage and killing him if needed, and kind of hard to chop sometimes. Blade Mill against Gyro doesn't always work out too well either. So a lot of his damage does end up being magic-based.
Yeah, it's hard to gauge if they're removing cores that they fear their lineup, or they fear just going up against them, or if they're just trying to read the bans also from ESPADA. Banning PL, maybe they want Gyro, so they ban that out. But
yeah, that's possible.
Lycan also gets taken off the table, which could be a possibility for Spirit. There is Ensnare and Glimpse, but I guess they could still go into a Bull Rush strat. But now Luna comes out.
Yeah.
It's kind of a Gyrocopter in her own way.
Yeah, and also countered by PL, I would argue, at some stages, just because of the illusions will just tank up the little bouncies. But Luna's a very, very good laning hero. Amplifies, makes your supports better in lane, gives you Eclipse and an extra nuke in lane. I think Luna is probably my least favorite carry to lane against if I'm playing off lane, just because I have to deal with everybody hits harder.
Yeah.
They are going to be able to kill me easier if I get out of position. Yeah, it's got the not even mini stun, 0.8 second stun from Lucent Beam. It's a pain in the butt to run away from that. So I could see Warlock Axe be in the lane, but Sky Axe could also work out. So
yeah, we saw Sky in that last game put on heavy pressure, especially to Lycan in the mid game, and Lycan was the pick after a Skywrath Mage. I don't know if they had known at the time that they were going to be potentially dealing with that, but now they see the Skywrath Mage already out there. ESPADA could prep themselves for that potential early game harassment to deal with it. You don't have the benefit of a Warlock now to counter it with heavy sustain, so I don't know if they just have to get some sort of survivable core to deal with it, because Disruptor Naga are not going to help in that department.
Yeah, not very well. And Luna also is vulnerable to it because her range is so low that she can't even trade hits with Skywrath Mage when he does these harassments. So he's going to be able to attack and use the Arcane Bolt. He can respond with a Lucent Beam, but that's about it. So I really do like what Spirit did with Sky yesterday. Like every other day that I've been watching Skywrath Mage, I've been pretty underwhelmed. Like it'll be okay in lane. It's kind of what happens when a hero becomes like the hero. Is that they just get very popular and then everybody understands how to play against it. But somehow Spirit's still finding opportunities to make it look new and interesting. Despite it being the same thing, they just have to find the right way to use their fork.
All right. More familiar heroes coming out here. ESPADA go back to the Sand King again. So, yeah, I mean, you look at the draft and you're like, this is some of the most ridiculous, like, AoE team fight you could ask for. Naga Song, Disruptor setup, Sand King can just mollywop on top of them, and then you got Luna Eclipse, like, damage coming out of their ears everywhere all across. But, you know, are they going to have that physical raw damage output? You know, Luna late game will help with that, but I don't know. It makes me again think like this Axe could just like be that huge tank with a pipe and mitigate a lot of that damage, and then some Illidan hero could just slide in and do some work.
So what Spirit did last game, as a result of basically more or less the same lineup, other than the Luna instead of Alesh, is they got tanky cores. They got Chaos Knight and Viper, which basically dealt with the damage problem. Now maybe ESPADA has a plan like, oh, if they go this tanky heroes, we're going to grab X hero instead. That's a possibility. And usually a scaling core carry like Luna is better against those anyways, because the tanky core guys, they'll have to diversify with magic immunity and maybe raw HP and armor. Whereas if it's against a Leshrac, you kind of just need like magic immunity and HP. You're solved basically. So Luna might make this strong enough that it won't matter. Not to mention the damage aura. It'll be like what, plus 50 damage by the time he hits 15. So makes all of his supports and heroes hit harder. And their other difference is that they have a Warlock now instead of a Witch Doctor. And I would argue that Cask and Maledict are just really safe either way from a support duo to make your cores more defensive anyways, because then you have to worry about being Cask bounced, which did matter sometimes. So maybe Warlock does add much more teamfight, but perhaps there's something in the draft that they just love. Like, I mean, Sand King is safer laning. The disable setup is great. I will see what they go for the last pick. But it's
curious though. Now Spirit have an option of what they want to lane for Illidan against the Sand King.
Yep, it's a carry and a mid pick for Spirit, and ESPADA gets the last pick with their mid, so they get a good matchup, arguably.
Yeah.
Which I think is good, because it kind of forces... It's basically the same draft, right? Like, so they have no idea what to expect, more or less. Last time they were forced to put a Lycan mid for the matchup. They still go for CK.
Oh, man, they run back to CK again.
Which I think is fine. CK probably works fine against Luna late game. He'll get the Reality Rift Pierce's armor perk at 20, or Pierce's immunity at 20, so he can still go on the Luna if he wants to. And we saw that he did eventually. He just got too tanky.
Yeah.
So I think the CK is a fine pick for the opening. Give them a little bit of time, get some more bans. It seemed like they're a little unsure what they wanted to go for, but I think picking the CK now is probably fine, because regardless, it's still the only thing that picking the CK now does is like gives you more time for your mid pick.
Yeah. I mean, they could. I was gonna say like the Lina is one of the few options that beats out most, but I thought they were gonna like ban the Viper, see if G goes for the Lina, and then ESPADA could pick up a TA or something like that, which wouldn't have been the worst thing ever. But it looks like they'll ban the Lina, and I don't know, maybe you can force G into picking a something like a TA, and then ESPADA have a Viper or something like that they could pull out.
I think what Sin kept saying was that Lina's like the safest mid to just pick if you have to pick before your opponent picks their mid, because pretty much no matter what, other than a TA, he usually says that you're going to be fine in your lane. So they ban out Tinker, which would have been really good against Chaos Knight, basically. Like clearing illusions, making...
Imagine trying to fight into a base with illusions, or you're going against Glaive and March and stuff like that.
The March will just kill it. The missiles will kill it.
Laser off illusion that bounces to the actual CK, maybe.
That doesn't sound fun at all. They don't have the best catch between like Sky Warlock, so makes sense to ban that out. Now he's got a... Alright, what is he going to lane with? Maybe they just Viper again.
5 seconds remaining.
There's not that many that can beat Viper too.
It's not quite the same. Yeah, I mean, I'm not too surprised to see them pick Viper again. Considering their opponent's lineup is so similar to last game, like, sure, Viper is going to be way worse against Luna than against a Lesh. Like, Lesh is like perfect matchup, ideally late game for Viper. Maybe not perfect, but great. Like, he does mostly magic. You have a magic resistance skill. You can slow the guy heavily, amplify the magic damage you deal to him, and he doesn't have natural armor, so even your right clicks feel good. So whereas Luna is, like I said, he's gonna have to worry about being out carried in hard damage, and they're just gonna go for the Pugna. So it's kind of what I expected, basically. Like, they're gonna be like, look, this is our opening. Take what you will. But the difference is this game, they're gonna have a hero that actually lanes well against Viper. So
is that Pugna?
Yes, that should be their mid. Should be a Pugna
I actually
mid.
do not see Pugna versus Viper too much in the mid lane. I'm curious how he super owns that lane. Is it something with Decrepify that allows him to make it away from heavy harassment or something? Because Pugna is frail. Like, no life points at all, really. If Skywrath Mage comes to that lane,
that's true.
He's going to have a hard time. Now, don't get me wrong. Later, when he has Ward, Skywrath Mage is going to be crying. But I feel like early game, he is just so fragile.
Remember what happened to Lycan last game was that basically the Skywrath Mage zoned and killed the Disruptor, and then he basically just zoned and helped kill the Lycan with Viper. Whereas instead now, if that's Pugna, Pugna can help his support fight off the other support because he's ranged and he's fast. And if the lane goes a little bit rough, he can decrep either Viper or himself and run away. And he can also just walk up the lane and blast it to push it. And Viper can't push very fast, so if you just push the lane and Viper doesn't get on your hill immediately, then push the lane gets pushed, you got the last hits, go do something else, and then make Viper stay in his lane. So it's a advantage, and I guess Pugna doesn't scale as well, but even things like Netherward are really good against Skywrath Mage and some of the other heroes that are in the game. So I think Pugna is a better pick. And we're basically going to answer the question, like, if we have the same draft but we have one small hero rotation, we'll be able to do the same thing, or will they be able to win? And I think the answer is much more towards yes. No.
I'm eager. I mean, we were briefly talking about it, but I'm a big Pugna fan in its own right. I know I called out in the last game that I'm not a big fan of green heroes, but I was certainly disproven. Someone called me out. I'm a bigger Spirit fan, so he's green. And Pugna as well is also a fun little green hero as we see him dancing his way towards this top lane. Eager to see what he's going to be able to get done. This is a 4-man movement, so aggressively posturing up. Immersion will show himself. There's going to be no opportunity to make the jump onto Illidan while he's that deep, but they do get at least a little bit of lane insight on how things are going to pan out.
Trying to bait out a sentry on the top lane by walking in the lane, but we'll see if they fall for it. Another cool thing that ESPADA did with their lineup here is if you look at the hero they subbed out, which is a Lycan. Lycan very good at pushing buildings. We saw that last game. And look at the heroes they subbed in. They've got a Luna. It's good at hitting buildings, and Pugna, both good at hitting buildings. So despite losing the Lycan pick and having, other than that, the rest of the same heroes, their lineup is equal, if not better, at pushing. Maybe.
Yeah. Even though Pugna's like super fast, not as fast as a shapeshift, so they may lose out on a little bit of mobility. There's situations where if they jump a Pugna, a Lycan would be able to get away, and a Pugna will not be able to get away. So we'll see if that comes back to bite him on his little green butt or not. It looks like they may be getting first blood here. A catch onto Biver. Oh no! The miss!
I mean, Luna's really... they're both really bad. Oh, he gets him.
Got it. Man, the range on that. So forgiving.
Luna's 2 movement speed faster here, so I'm actually a little surprised he caught up, but I'm sure Skywrath did not want to... Like, he was going to die because he only had 1 shared tango with his early build that he went here, so
yeah,
there's no way he doesn't get killed at some point there. He's not going to sit in lane. Going to Luna, though, that's kind of bad because that's a fast boots now for Luna, which means that Axe is going to have a much harder time harassing and winning trades there.
We'll see as now Warlock is going to be in a prime position to try to zone back Immersion, who gets the full creep wave pull. Take that with his lane in the Sand King all the way up towards that top. Yeah, we do have that mid lane matchup, Pugna against Viper. In our bottom lane, Skywrath Mage and Disruptor going toe-to-toe for the second game straight. Thunder Strikes and Arcane Bolts being shared from both sides. And Axe will share his own little bit of battle hunger harassment onto that Disruptor too.
Disruptor gets his magic stick a lot earlier this game too. It's very nice for him.
Yep.
Whereas last game he died, that's when he had it on the courier. And this time he gets to pop it out here.
Yes,
and
he does.
Go for a fight. It's going to be close.
Oh my gosh.
Is
that a kill? Yes, it is.
Very close.
Dude, Thunderstrike does a lot early on. You got to be careful.
Yes.
It's a lot of mana, but Clarities and the Magic Stick, which you didn't even need to pop. You could keep pumping it out if necessary.
And Lunar Blessing, man. 14 free
That's
damage.
true, too.
That's right, this lane. It's just such a big difference.
That is true.
Phobos is going to break Clarity at least.
Viper back. Salty Arcane Bolt going to be sent out. Now attention onto the Luna here. We'll shove her all the way back. Still has a salve to work with. That Battle Hunger is going to make it a bit difficult, though.
He'll just take a bit of time to regen again. But he's got a salve. He'll wait for the Battle Hunger to finish. Salve popped up, and he's almost out of regen, though. Like, this lane is actually empty at this point. The courier's coming, though. I'm sorry, it's going.
Yeah, it
They're just completely out of regen. And Axe still has a salve and a tango. And Sky is full with a new set of tangos. So, yeah, bad setup, actually, all of a sudden. They saw where to pressure, and it was the Luna. It was the much easier hero to pressure than Pugna.
Yeah, and
Made the right
Sarath may
choice.
have already just been like, okay, well, I did my part here. He's going to scout out what rune is at the bottom, and then he could just start adding his pressure onto the mid lane.
And Viper is at 7 last hits with 2 denies. Pugna's up to 8 and 7. So more denies on Pugna's side, but Viper's still doing decent. So level advantage certainly for Pugna, but not all bad for Viper. That's
Oh, they're
basically
going to
just
help out
decred.
that bottom lane. Naga just went down there. So they definitely feel the repercussions of that early game pressure. Though Viper is handing over kills. He's putting in the work on the life bars, and they don't have the regen to kind of help it. But here we go. Naga shows up. Her debut rotation may be successful here as they make a move onto the Axe. He does pop the wand and is able to get off at least one more spin. Return fire as Viper will get the disruptor down, but he will ultimately lose his own life. At top lane, FNG. A lot of harassment there, but he's got the heal out and he'll be fine. So Viper for a third straight time. It's 4-1, but you know, ESPADA are having to adapt to kind of just stabilize how the lanes are pandering. Okay, a move again onto the Axe. Could they get double takedown? This would certainly help things out. They do! Dominating now on the Luna. Well,
Yeah.
ESPADA have certainly fixed up that situation.
Luna lanes are just so strong. Like, and it's not just the 14 damage that they all have, it's also that they already had a Naga who amplifies physical damage. So it's like they already deal tons of damage and they all get amplified a bunch.
Yep.
Just so
Okay, but Viper's rotated towards the mid lane. That
strong.
Decrep
A little low.
does slow things down for G, and he'll heal up.
It's just been a bit of a tough lane for G just because Pugna actually went 2 points decrep early. So he just decreps whenever he wants to go for a deny, and it's a guaranteed deny. So it's harder for Viper to abuse his hero quite as much.
I love that they finally added all these changes into Pugna, and certainly that Decrepify, you know, whether it's him being able to finally move at full speed if he needs to self-Decrepify, or just being able to spam out the Decrepify anymore. I imagine the numbers were tweaked, right? I'm not sure if it's cooldown or duration of it, but it does make it a lot more valuable to go with the early points.
Viper and Misha having a little bit of a fight here by the mid tier 1, but he will get out just safe. How's the CK doing up here? 18 and 4. Sanking is the last hit leader. This looks like a dead Warlock.
Yep. Burrow and takedown of FNG will make things even better. It looks like there will be some return fire as Illidan just sucks him right into the tower.
Pudge hooked him basically.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. And not a lot of players make plays like that, I find, but that one worked out.
Helps things a bit. Is he going to go for the... Nope, no glimpse yet. Everybody goes for the 1-0-1 at level 2, but... Okay, looks like they are going to get Misha with that Arcane Bolt. Viper all over the place, man. Mid, then bottom, back to mid, back to bottom.
That was important. And now DK Phobos finally gets boots, so that means he's going to be able to escape a little bit better. Viper was looking to see if he could get a solo kill here, but Luna pops the shrine early, and the lanes go back to normal. So it's a relatively close game, but yeah, ESPADA's definitely laning much better than they were the previous game.
Probably get the same similar item buildup on DK Phobos as we saw in the previous game. He has that hood queued up, as there's still a plethora of magic damage available on ESPADA's team.
Even better than the last game, actually.
Yeah, with Pugna over Lycan.
And even Luna does a lot of magic. Like it's
true.
Yeah, magic is the thing this game for sure. I could even see Viper getting a hood, honestly. But we'll see if this build changes that much.
And rotation here. The first movement of DK Phobos. He's only level 4.
Oh, they scanned it.
Radiant are scanning.
But as you mentioned, good scan read there. Immersion's looking to scout out the rotation in, and little lady bodyguard is successful in seeing that. He hits her with a little battle hunger and will take his business back to the bottom lane.
That was a great rotation spot. Like, if that gank works, that's a dead Pugna. Viper snowballs a little bit more hardened, but instead the game continues to be tough. 18 denies now for Pugna, and Viper's only got 19 last hit, so this is hurting his levels. He's almost 2 levels behind now. They kind of played Spirit like a fiddle with this draft this game.
Now this Pugna has a double damage. It's pretty hard. The last hits and denies are going to be even easier. G's trying to make him pay for it, but it is not easy with that uphill.
Pugna's just about to hit 7 here.
Rotation to the top lane coming out. A smoked Naga. They make a jump onto BZZ. They might be trying to time it out with his level 6. We'll see. He's getting pretty close to it on the Sand King.
Still goes Midas.
Oh, but coming in also is going to be Biver towards this top. Oh, he's going to get spotted on the way in. They have the vision with that ward.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
Well, Misha's here.
We 3v3 either way.
Yeah, he's got 1-1-1, so now Glimpse is available. There's the stun, concussive shot from afar. Get him with the Fatal Bonds. There goes the Arcane Bolt, but as they see Biver run in, they put their focus onto the Skywrath. Can't really go much further. Certainly BZZ doesn't want to jump back in.
Yeah, that's kind of weird.
So they just pull up a tri-lane essentially to fend off the tri-lane pressure that Spirit have just thrown together. Just matching him, I guess.
And CK ults, but yeah, nothing gets benefited from it. Other than the fact that he's going to be able to farm better. You can kill the large camp with this, I guess. It's like one of the small benefits of this hero, but trying to deal with the Hellbear and get as much as you can. At least the supports are under leveled on the enemy side is one benefit they've got, but Luna's level 7. Pugna has not left the mid lane. He's level 8, and Viper has been jungling. This is like a reverse of the previous game, with the exception that G has not been dying, at least.
Yeah.
But the laning has just been completely contested just by decrypt denies. Just something small, but it's ended up being huge.
Invis top that Pugna will grab. But what do you do with a Pugna that has this kind of advantage at this point? Well, now he's got Invis, so he's going to try to go on the move. I was curious if you play him similar like a DK or DP, and it's when you have him in the mid lane, and it's like if your opponent's going to go, do you just truck forward in the lane and try to take that tier 1 right away?
Apparently not. He's actually done no tower damage yet.
I was just going to say.
But but laning is in so many ways like just more important, you know? Like, he's going to get a solo kill here. So
oh! Oh! That Decrep combo just wipes out 2/3 of the life of Skywrath Mage.
If he doesn't have silence 100%, that's a dead hero. But
yeah.
Big nuke there. Yeah, staying in the lane is just so much. Like the last hits and denies, it does almost everything. So limits your opponent's ability to get any farm. And now Viper's net worth is pretty atrocious. He's significantly behind the Pugna right now. So makes the game a lot harder. And now Chaos Knight just isn't. It's not the best carry at this point, especially if you go Midas. And then Sand King gets a free lane. So Sand King is far more farm than Viper as well. Looks like they'll swap lanes though. Putting Viper top will work, and CK mid is a little dangerous to Pugna. So guess this will work.
We didn't mention, or at least if you did, I feel bad I didn't hear it. The Pugna versus CK matchup. I mean, is this worthy enough that Pugna gets, you know, the Ags at some point, just sucks down all the illusions immediately? It's so crazy.
That absolutely can work. Costs a lot of mana, but Pugna has tons of mana anyway. Yeah, so certainly can work. He'll probably go Aether Lens into Ags or something. Maybe Kaya, maybe a Veil.
I always feel like Aether Lens is a very pubby build-up on Pugna. Only because I get him in my pubs all the time. I just like having better spots to put the ward down even, which is the extra bit of distance. Plus, yeah, you get that much further on the life drain, and now that the benefit of life drain, it works through the fog, it's like, oh, well, certainly take the extra range.
Yeah, that's basically the same thing. You're safer when you initiate. You're less out of position standing there. It's certainly the pro item build as well. It has been for a long time.
Is his first talent commonly the health? Or
usually.
Move speed.
Yeah, the health is just too necessary. The move speed's great because your hero's already fast and all, but you're also just missing so much health. And if you rush Aether Lens, you're spending the first, like, he's got almost 4k net worth and he still has very vulnerable health. Like, if he ever makes a mistake and gets caught by, like, a Phantasm Reality Rift Chaos Bolt, he dies if he doesn't decrep. So the health just gives you that little extra benefit.
Oh, movement in. Right as he does the decrep combo, Biver comes in from behind, drops the ward down the high ground. Blasts apart. Here comes the Eclipse. Lady Luna runs right into action here. They decrep to slow them down. She waits, hits him with that Lucent Beam, and then we'll finish things off. Mega kill now for Luna.
Great rotation there.
Yeah.
But Luna doesn't show up, and there's no way that works. But I think that was... It's basically like ESPADA trying to force an engagement like that. Like, CK has to be worried and ready for those kinds of initiation. He got really unlucky on the stun duration, actually. It said 1, but it was probably a fraction of 1 second. But, oh, they commit Golem on mid lane.
Yep.
Try to get this
Hard
kill.
Rock drop down, looking to go for Pugna, and it looks like they'll get him.
Huge kill there. I'm surprised it's not worth more gold, but I think that was absolutely worth it because putting Pugna on the ground, all of a sudden Viper catapults up to level 8.
Yep.
He's now got 4 points in corrosive skin. He's going to be able to finish probably treads. Yep, treads are on the way. And now he can actually regain his laning stage a bit. And look at that. His net worth is actually only 200 behind Pugna's now, which is insane considering how much it was off before.
I guess the downside's only that they are going to leave the Sand King to do his own devices at the top lane, and that means that he's now super close to this Blink Dagger, much closer than where the Axe is at the moment. So
and the CK also lost out the last couple minutes, so they lost
went
some
minus
CK.
again too.
Yeah, he did. They lost some CK advantage, but the supports gained a little bit, and ultimately with this rotation, it's all been worthwhile, I feel. And that was a pretty early rock too. Instantly used, successfully used.
Which is kind of what you want to do, right? You want to just get on a cooldown right away.
Sort of, yeah. Unless there's something else you'd rather do instead, such as like win another fight. Axe is going to die bottom, it looks like.
Oh. Yep. Catch the back end of that one. Looks like
Glimpse.
after the death, Pugna gets right into action, and yep, along with the Disruptor, they get a good setup on that Axe. That's going to prolong that Blink Dagger. He's hoping to save it for that much longer. While BZZ is super close to his. He knows he's on the hunt. He's like, please don't do this. I am actually 50 gold or so away from my dagger, and it looks like he does find an opportunity to blink out before anyone can get him.
Yeah, he's fine.
And he'll be good.
When they lose mid-tier one? Just now, apparently. Luna must have taken it. I saw him hitting it. I just looked away. I was like, no, someone will defend that, surely. That's why your towers die, guys. And there's with the Aetherland's bot lane, Pugna's also taking that tower. So now it seems like that's the item he wanted to move around like this. He gets the health perk as well. Just high HP hero, super high damage threat. It's a good position to be in.
Another tower goes down. I thought you were implying like the towers go down often in your pubs due to the similar like bystander effect.
Yeah.
Now, certainly someone's going to do something about it.
That's exactly what
Nobody does anything.
But it was hard, but that was probably the loss of Inferno Golem, to be honest.
True.
That Luna felt like, I don't have Eclipse, but like, what else do they have? Like, it's like they have a CK with a Midas. The Axe doesn't have Blink. The Viper's a little unfarmed, and they don't have a Golem. Like, I can do this. That's probably why that tower goes down. But ultimately, not great, but I think it was okay considering the circumstances for Spirit. 3k gold behind now, though, so it's getting a little out of control.
Still, though, some Sleeping Giants for ESPADA in that meantime. Luna had been grinding through jungle farms since then. Sand King obviously did pick up that Blink Dagger, and now they're about to try to debut it. And Misha's also level 6 on this Disruptor. It feels like they'll be able to kill anyone they come across successfully. Yeah. And they have eyes on the CK.
This is that period where CK was definitely very vulnerable. So I wonder if we'll see Kill go down here. But
fresh off the Midas.
Yes. Basically post-Midas treads, pre-armlet. He's very weak right now.
They're going for it. You hear the call of the Epi.
Oh, perfect
they jump
timing.
in. Illidan runs right back inside. Does not get hit by anything. The team's got to rotate over. They're running their way towards Illidan if possible. But they've already pulled him back in. Under the Glimpse. Now into the Stag Storm.
That's perfect.
Call the song to stop trouble from coming in, and it looks like ESPADA are just going to retreat. It took a little too long to get the dive onto Illidan. Illidan's positioning was very good. He was very defensive, very ready.
That was so cool how he did it, actually. Like I assume he did this on purpose, but as the creep wave is coming forward, he walks at the creep wave briefly. And by doing that, ESPADA felt like, all right, he's being a dumbass, we can jump on him. But as he walked forward, he instantly walked back as well. He knows that he's going to get dived. This is like one of the most crucial times in the game as a carry. Because if you dodge that gank, or the gank goes like that, the game swings around the opposite way.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
they're running indeed. They're trying to get a rift, and FNG's like, we're going no matter what, boys. Drops the rock, does find mild connection, but the follow-up is not quite there yet. Illidan decides that he doesn't want to hang around any longer, hides within the trees to go. Meanwhile, the Luna mid lane shreds down G on the Viper. Now coming in from behind is going to be Phobos, sets up the Battle Hunger. Again, does not have the Blink Dagger yet, so just has to kind of let it go as it is.
Yeah, a little bit overzealous with their dive there. It looked kind of good if they were able to follow up on the Pugna, but he didn't want to rift first before the stun. Maybe should have gone for it, but yeah. The Viper dying is definitely the bigger casualty. That in the meantime and during all of that, the other two heroes that weren't there end up getting a kill on an important hero. So rough for Spirit, losing the Golem again, which means, again, more pushing from ESPADA on the top lane.
And Luna gets to go back to her farm. Already had that Mask of Madness, now is going to be finishing out the Manta next.
He's going to be out of control this game. His net worth is like 50% higher than the CK's. I don't care that he has a Midas. It's got a, like CK's on kill trajectory now. He has to get kills to catch up, or he's not going to, period. His
Armlet will help, and a haste rune. So yeah, that's like, that's a formula for ass beating. So let's see if he can get something out of it. Pugna went for the Veil, by the way, so just really
like
boosting up the magical damage.
It's the best way to amplify your damage to the fullest. So the only downside is that Veil has a cooldown, and it costs a little bit of mana, but that's usually fine. And the other issue is that, or I guess the other good part about it is it gives you 6 armor, which is very good against CK. So here comes the fight.
Here we go.
Ulti in 3, but only level 1 CK ulti. That could be really costly.
No hope for RNG. Sand King's waiting in those back lines. Looks like a ward was already dropped. Some eyeballing, but no one taking the dive at the moment.
They didn't have Song for 10 seconds, so smart of them to back off. But Luna's got Manta finish now, so once she gets like one more item, CK can't easily deal with her. So I kind of feel like Spirit should, ideally for them, they would get like a CK fight off on Luna, kill Luna easily while she's still vulnerable, and then everything looks better. But between like Song protecting her and even things like Disruptor ulti or Decrep, like there's a lot of things that could go wrong if Spirit forces a fight into Luna.
Well, they're going to try to force something here because they got a Blink Dagger on Phobos, and they want to debut it.
They want to go mid, I think, but
most of ESPADA are there with the exception of the Sand King hanging around the top.
No golem for 6.
Disruptor is trying to watch the passing on one end. The Spirit are rolling right through the river and hanging out on their side.
They've done a decent job of basically like smoking to catch a possible wraparound while still having Illidan in the mid lane. So this is alright. And I think that was relatively safe. Illidan was farming on his high ground. That means if his opponents approach, worst case, it's something like Blink Burrow Strike by Sanking, and they try to walk up and follow up with a Song or with a Disruptor ulti, and if he Static Storm, and if he gets like Armlet ulti off in that moment, he definitely can turn fights. So looks like they're, I think Spirit's doing this alright. They're keeping Luna at least only moderately ahead now. It's not quite as extreme.
And while she farms her way back in through the woods, the Pugna goes from lane to lane.
Is he going to Armlet
adding his pressure?
No, he's just trying to be in the area.
Yeah, he is still hanging around. Luna Illusion will spot him out. Oh, he actually goes for the stun, then comes back. Nice dodge with the Phantasm. It's the second time we've seen him do it in this series. Drop of the rock, but immediate Song. And TP out. All right. Evacuation play. Naga gets blasted with Mystic Flare, but that's not going to be good enough.
That was a good try. Well, I mean, it always feels so bad when this happens for Chaos Knight, but, I mean, considering they're losing, it's not all terrible. But, again, in the meantime, we got a power farming Luna with a Mask of Menace. I mean, she's picking up items very quickly. But the Midas does make this more competitive. Like, the Midas is just such a like conundrum to me. It's like, it seems terrible, but in any fight that doesn't go ideal, it's good then. Because then you're like, but at least I got Midas. Like, at least I can stay relevant. But if he doesn't have Midas and it goes bad, then the hero is terrible. So it's like, it's this weird, like, midway place. Midas makes you bad, but it also helps guarantee that you can be CK late game, which is ultimately, I guess, more important for if you pick them against, like, damage weak lineups. So I guess it works out.
Yeah, we'll have to see how everyone else progresses and itemizes to kind of deal with them potentially. Looking over our Pugna friend, and it's a 4-staff next, and then an Aeon Disc after. I like Aeon Disc a lot on Pugna.
It's the CK solution, basically. So
yeah.
I think it works out. 4-staff, kind of similar. See if they can save one guy. It basically saves one person at Sky Ulti, for example, so.
Yeah.
Same with the Viper combos.
Misha out in the front. He wants to high ground setup to be able to see if there's any glimpse potential there, but it looks like they've already seen the Warlock while they jump onto him. A move from the Sand King to get him hit onto G, and they're going to be sending the Skywrath all the way back, or no, they send, sorry, the CK all the way back up towards that top lane. Seen that before too. And now G under the gun. Going to get pressured up right under the tower, and they're going to try to make it a full 4-man takedown for everybody who joined in this bottom lane. And now they can follow it up with a tier 2. Oh man, Illidan being sent back certainly does not make things any easier for Spirit.
Oh, they had a ward set up on the other tower ahead of time is what happened. So they were very ready for any support TPs. Just really well played there by ESPADA.
This will make an easy tier 2, and they are definitely in much more control than what we saw in the previous game. This is all of them at the moment. And they're going to go right down the docket for objectives here. It looks like straight to the mid lane potentially. Oh, I say that. It's just BZZ heading that way. The rest of them have apparently spotted a mighty girthy stack that they would love to take.
Yeah. I guess the only hero that can really farm this is maybe Axe, but he actually needs this. He's really poor right now.
Yeah.
Blink, Hood, Chainmail. That's it. He can set up kills potentially, but as long as there's good vision and movement from ESPADA, these catches won't happen. Push continues. It's very easy for them to do it too. Like the Pugno is such a perfect pick, man. It accomplished both things. It both beat the Viper in the lane, and it's just so much better for sieging and team fight. It's good against Skywrath Mage. It's just, what a good pick.
Yeah, drafting in tune here for ESPADA, and we'll see if they get rewarded for it. Another tower takedown. The money continues to influx. 7K of a net worth advantage and rising for ESPADA at this point in time. Roche is up. They have a decent Roche lineup, but nothing they can do in a quick, fast, in a hurry situation. I think Spirit could potentially offer some contention, but maybe they just feel confident they have the ward on the high ground to spot anyone rotating in. They have Naga for Song, so they're going to give it a go.
Luna's kind of low on mana, but I guess...
It's not fast, though. This is going to be slow.
It's certainly a little slow, but it's not the worst, I guess. Yeah, they're going to give up on this. Without like a Medallion or a Solar Crest,
yeah,
they just don't quite have enough damage. It's kind of the same when we saw last game as well. It's kind of the damage output problem. I mean, it's good damage, but it's not super overwhelming Roche easy stuff. So.
Yeah. Maybe a better opportunity will be G in the top lane, they say. So they begin to beeline it that direction, just as he pushes things out. Oh, Misha. Misha. Glimpse. Got him. Just in front of the tower. Stackstorm already set up. Means that the rest of his crew can run in to go for the cleanup. Oh, Burrow! Onto the Warlock before he can even get the opportunity to think about a chaotic offering. The catch is there. And they'll finish off the 2. And they'll have to sack this tower as well. And that's going to be all outer towers for Spirit, just like that.
I don't think he was quite ready to fully commit that, but I guess kept in hindsight, you could say that dropping the Golem and predicting their opponent's movements would have been good. Like if you put it a little bit behind where the Viper was, it might have caught the Sand King on the backline, for example. And then maybe you get the heal off on the Viper, and then everything goes okay. But that double Burrow Strike just upended that entire fight. There was no way Viper wins after that point, or lives.
Yeah. Good heads up, obviously, to have the Disruptor up there to even set up the opportunity. And I think we were talking about the panel too. Like Disruptors just seems to be the CIS hero at the moment.
Yeah.
And they do get a lot of work out of them. That's the Roche down. That is an Aegis for Luna. She pockets the extra life. And we'll see where her team carries her so she can ride off their wings.
Well, BKB's finished for Illidan at least, so if that happens to him instead of the Viper, it's not going to be a big deal. But that was definitely something that happened last game, actually. There was this period of time, like the mid-game-ish, where they put these ganks on CK, not on the Viper. And the Viper is certainly the more vulnerable of the hero. Far less HP. Maybe he had BKB by this timing last game, so obviously it was probably different because CK was maybe a little bit more behind. But they're making the ganks work really well.
Now they're truly going to be tested in what looks like their high ground defense. It's fair. I mean, you have Rock, but an Axe. But the Axe is not super tanky right now. And I don't even know. I don't even know how much faith I would have in Spirit's high ground defense, but we'll have to see if they can make it work. ESPADA, you know, I didn't even think their draft was going to have good high ground defense, but they somehow even made Spirit sweat for it a bit. Looks like they're not going to siege too much further than that. Just some poking damage onto the tower and maybe some wards on the way out, but ESPADA are content at the moment with already how things are going in the game. Closer to 10K of a net worth advantage, and the map feels like it mostly belongs to them.
Yeah. It feels a lot harder for Spirit to get ganks, basically. It's the negative of the Warlock, I guess. No, the Warlock hasn't felt super useful to me so far this game. They are losing, but I guess that's part of the problem. If you're losing a hero that doesn't gank very well, feels weak, I guess. They could team fight, but their opponents aren't really team fighting. They're just like selectively ganking in smart ways.
You could say the same for like Axe too. I mean, where's our Blink Call Skywrath combos at? He's unfortunately 0 and 4.
He was just behind, man. Luna tri-lanes. So they win the lane, they get to mid game, they kind of just control stuff, get solo kills. Lush can't do that nearly as safely or easily.
Here comes the ESPADA towards the bottom half. Ancients are going to get farmed on the side while the lane gets pushed forward. No tier 2 here anymore, so it's straight to the base if they want to get anything done. G trying to mend the top lane, but they'll eventually have to call him back into action if this does pursue. No, it's just all fronts. They're just going to keep lanes pushed all across all lanes right now. Naga working in the mid lane. Sand King's going to be here to deal with the pressure that was coming from G. And G's going to cut the lane himself.
He's got to be a little careful about Glimpse, but he should be fine. Oh, there's actually no TP on Disruptor. I just felt like if he pushed the wave, he might have to worry about like a TP to Towering Glimpse.
Yeah.
That's what I meant, but he played it ultra safe. He threw out the Nether Toxin and he just TP'd away, and the creeps just walked over and took some damage. That was it. It was pretty weak, but
yeah.
They're going to fight. This is actually surprising. They're going in.
Okay, there's the song.
Okay. That was
It's on the
bad.
CK. Do they want to go for him, or they're looking for everyone behind?
Oh,
Oh! Wow, the blink does go off. They could get the Static Storm at the conclusion of the song, so Axe was able to barely make it out, but you can't say the same for the support staff. Now they hustle back. They isolate Illidan, and they chop the Horseman down. 3 going to be out of this one. Only Skywrath has a buyback at the moment. But here we go.
It was such a cool play, but everybody was just so grouped on the back line.
Glimpse pull back onto G. Buybacks out from that Skywrath, but no rock for at least 10 seconds. And the Warlock does return. Tier 3 already down. The siege is on from Luna. She has the Aegis. She's happy to fight forward. Wait out the fortification here. The wand's already going to be down. Oh, Luna will lose the Aegis.
They got another word too.
Are they going to wait? Blink call. There's the blink call. They use them immediately. The rock, though, does catch the 2 of them. And the Axe is going to get blown up. Here comes that Eclipse now. Laguna thinks about chopping away with the buyback immediately, and ESPADA may just take that.
One glimpse back. Now it's scary to chase. Warlock's still going though. Oh look, guys. I mean, they need to get
all
kills.
going.
Okay, CK's coming. He's got BKB again.
Oh,
I don't think he's gonna find anybody though.
no.
It's too hard at this point. So what was so cool about the way they initiated is they basically smoked. Their opponents were planning to go high ground, but they basically said, let's fight them outside of the base. Don't let them get set up. Smart choice, right? CK has a blink, so what he does, he runs forward first, and he instantly goes on the Pugna, and he starts attacking him, but he doesn't use ult, he doesn't use BKB. He just jumps, uses stun, and right-clicks him. So he did 2 things. He didn't waste his ulti, he didn't create this like song, kill my illusions thing, and he broke the Aeon disc. So he like basically set them up in a good fight, but if the backline gets hit with like 3 heroes on Static Storm, it was just way too hard. And Axe had used Blink just to escape that combo. So it was like basically 3-man Static Storm effectively, which guaranteed that CK's ulti and BKB follow-up was dealable. So it was a really cool idea from Spirit, but they were just a little bit too far away, and it was a little too early for CK to opt for that fight.
Yeah.
And they had a ward, I think, the whole time too, which probably created most of the issue. So
Yeah, that same worm has caused some problems for Spirit in this game already.
Just great song, basically, is the way to sum it up.
Yeah,
Like,
there's definitely been value in the Naga pick for sure. In both games, actually.
Yep.
You know, even in the game they lost, Naga's definitely shown her colors.
And ESPADA making great choices as well with the Sand King, Yulzi, and the Axe immediately. Like they read the team fight very well. That's great. So almost a Satanic now on Luna. Butterfly, almost Satanic. 1,500 gold to that one. Bad position to be in Spirit. That might get a kill top though.
Whoa.
Sand King's low. He's got the Yules. He's gonna get at least a blink.
Yep. Oh,
Oh.
there's that song.
Teleporting.
I tried to teleport, but the song's already there.
They didn't see him.
No, they didn't. They might just figure he made it away. Surely he didn't get away from that song that fast.
Is that a daggone Sand King?
There it is. Pull back into net. And they'll finish him off. It's going to be the Luna who grabs it. And she is now beyond godlike. Someone stop him.
If he actually just hid in the trees and teleported, he probably would have been fine. But once he goes in the lane, they see him with Luna Aura, I think is what happened. So, well, another kill. It was a good attempt, but this is your off-lane hero. He was just too tanky. He's got 2,200 HP. That was too much. They couldn't kill him.
Oh my god, they see Illidan, do they? They saw him run under that ward.
He's got a blink. He could ulti.
Phantasm again, but I mean, I'll trade a glimpse for a free Phantasm. He is going to be outside the base with it though, while they do manage to get a takedown of Misha with it.
Oh, he rocks it. He wants
Oh, nice rock. But FNG blows up. Here comes Illidan. He's hoping to make something out of it here. Does manage to get the stun onto Naga. Nice little discretion.
God, the illusions are
And
dead.
they're going to heal her up. She'll be fine.
There it is.
G moving in with the BKB. Tries to right-click it in, but he is getting chunked away from the Luna. She is doing too much work. CK's buys back, but it may be too late to offer any sort of handy assistance.
They're ahead this game. They have better matchups. The game is in ESPADA's favor now. It looked like an okay opportunity for Spirit because their big cooldowns were down in terms of Song of the Siren, but they just couldn't get enough kills, and they had enough AoE to just clear the illusions, like a Blast and a Veil and a Burrow Strike, and they're all dead. Just doesn't have time to get to the heart. Yeah, looks like it's just about over for Spirit here. The Luna is just so far ahead in terms of items. CK can't even kill him now because he's got Butterfly and BKB.
They're going to try to. She doesn't have an Aegis this time. If they can manage to burst her down, and she already used Satanic and BKB. So she has to reposition a bit. Oh, now she just moves it on the Axe. The Glaives do their thing. Even the Illusion Glaives are doing their thing onto Illidan, and Spirit know that they can't do anything with this, so they call it. And we're going to be going to a game number 3.
Dude, ESPADA's so good.
ESPADA's great, and it definitely went along with what we were saying. It's like they have better lane matchups, they have a better draft. It seems like they're a more coordinated kind of a team, and I think that kind of shows it.
Like the way that they surgically did every single push high ground team fight was honestly so respectable. Like it's exactly what you said about game 1. It was like they looked good. They did everything they could. They executed what they could, more or less the best they could. It's just they didn't have the tools and they weren't ahead enough. But this game is like they dissected the draft for a draft victory. They baited their opponents into doing exactly what they did before while knowing that they were going to have the advantage. And they just, man, in those late game fights, they knew exactly they're going to blink call Axe. Instantly the Yules comes. And then instantly after the Yules ends, they were like, we're not taking anything for granted. We're putting Pugny Heal on that guy instantly. We're doing everything we can to keep him alive. And they kept him alive easily, and that just completely closed the game out. It's like they know what to expect, and they're playing perfect.
It's exciting stuff for ESPADA here as they continue to look strong. I'm curious to see how Spirit will adjust things a bit. You know, their drafting and gameplay have been decent, but not quite as sharp as ESPADA's, so we'll see if FNG has something in his back pocket prepared for Game 3. Otherwise, they're at risk of being shoved into the lower bracket of these playoffs. That's Purge. I'm Dakota. We'll be back after a short break with more CIS TI8 qualifier playoff action. We'll see you then.